the day had finally come. The last day of this Value Village. 75% off on everything. A sad day to see this Value Village go for sure, but also exciting. What could I get at 75% off? Could I, Haytham, breeze the crowds of old people, fight off the vultures and scalpers, get rid of the resellers, and pave my way to victory? Well, I didn't do too hot. Once I was finally inside Value Village, an issue became quite clear to me. It was going to be slim pickings for video games. I admit, I was probably foolish thinking that there'd be any consoles left unless I arrived literally a minute after they opened. However, I still needed stuff for my house, and while the consoles and stuff were probably gone, there might still be some video games, I figured. Plus, who knows what cool stuff I might find. Of course, it is the last day. Due to it being the last day, they had changed things up a bit. They had closed off the back room area and had brought everything else out to the main floor. In retrospect, I kinda wish, funny enough, I would've bought that bowling ball. I have some video ideas that it didn't dawn on me at the time, but I could've got that bowling ball. Checking out some of the speakers they had. Now, I don't like those speakers where the wires are frayed on the back. I know for an audio file that they're probably laughing right now, but I'm looking for the speakers that are simple. It's the aux cable. That way I can just plug them into my computer or my phone. My speakers at home were starting to get a little staticky, so I've been on the look for some new ones. Nothing amazing, but browsing the electronics wall, I did grab some composite cables. Not that I need them at the moment, but it's always good to have a few extra pairs of cables laying around. You never know when you're gonna need them. Finally, when it looked like all hope was gone, I did find some video games. But man, my excitement was dashed pretty quickly. Besides the nonsense Poots games that obviously I'm not going to grab, the rest were common titles I already have or have no interest in. The only game I decided to finally pick up is a Kinect game, funny enough. Besides Kinect Sports, the only Kinect game that I think might be good is the Gunstringer. I've never played it, but I remember positive reviews about it at the time, so I'm interested in getting it, although I don't have a Kinect at the moment. One thing I always do at thrift stores in general is I always make sure to browse the book section. Over the years, I have found a lot of good books, video game books, comics, history books, and so on, so I always make sure to browse this section. Speaking of household objects we needed in, they were cheap here as I mentioned before, 75% off and everything. We were able to pick up a new fan for the living room. It has one of those like box fans that we have up on a stand right now, so having a tall fan is just so convenient. I decided to wander over to the other side of the store where they keep clothing, paintings, that kind of thing. Not that I'm one of these, like painting connoisseurs. Excuse my bad French, and it's actually French, funny enough. But you never know what you're going to find painting-wise. They've thrown us some cool video game paintings and stuff like that. They also keep the toys and board games over on that side, which I wanted to look at, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I don't know how you collectors feel. I'd be interested to hear about this in the comments section, but I know as me, a lone growing man, I do feel kind of weird in the toy section of Goodwill. And seeing that I was the guy with fucking camera sunglasses, it just didn't seem like a good idea to be standing around children in the fucking toy section, if you get my drift. I didn't want to get dragged out by fucking security or question. Like, so you're standing next to children in the toy section as a single growing man with a secret camera on your head. I don't know, I'm just paranoid, but it's funny. But I mean, I feel weird enough already, just like in the toy section, not just for any, people might think you're weird in that way, but also I just feel like I'm getting judged by like other adults where it's like, man, you're really looking at toys, and I'm just like, no, I promised, I'm just looking for cool Halo figures and stuff. So and also big box PC games sometimes sneak into the board game section. And also, I mean, there's cool video game related board games. If I found that 80s Pac-Man board game, you bet your fucking ass I'd buy it. I skipped the clothing this time as it's pretty rare to find cool t-shirts. I have before, but it just takes so long to browse the clothing section. It's like CDs, like the time commitment is just ridiculous. Returning, I did catch my dad working on that fan. I guess it didn't work, but he repaired it, which is good, so now it does work. Handyman. They had a lot of nice furniture and stuff, a lot of nice quality wood tables, super cheap. I just didn't need them. They also had some bowl stools, which I've always had this idea of like taking a small tube TV and like making a makeshift arcade thing, with some like Pac-Man plug and play and something, and having the bowl stool so you could sit up at it. But that's just a pipe dream. I mean, I don't have the fucking room for that. I used to play the trombone back in middle school, and trombones were fun enough just to fucking mess around with. So if there was one for $10, I would have bought it, but obviously it was just the empty case. I mean, I guess I could have bought it and used it as a battering ram to repel invading armies, but I'm not expecting an invasion of my home anytime soon by fucking Mongolians or something. This damn trash can fooled me twice. First I checked it for a price tag, cause a few bucks for a good quality rolling trash can, maybe. And then I was self-conscious because I found myself being the guy digging inside a trash can, and then I realized they didn't just put stuff for sale on this. This is an actual trash can, and I'm a homeless guy, well, a homeless looking guy fucking digging through the trash can with a camera on his head. Self-conscious moment. I did decide to grab this thing. It's like for washing dogs. It goes on the end of a hose, as you can see. Looks like it'd be convenient for washing dogs. I have 2 little dogs, but I also have a big one, so I think this would probably make it more convenient, maybe. I spotted a cool decoration piece. It's like, as you can see, it's nautical themed. I thought it would look great for my bathroom to put it up on the wall. I don't know what it is about bathrooms, because it doesn't make logical sense, but they just scream for a nautical, decoration scheme. Speaking of a nautical theme, I did find this cool, simple candle holder with, shells and stuff on it. I thought my mom might appreciate it, so I definitely grabbed it. A little tip for fellow YouTubers out there, always take a look at the lamp section. Sometimes there is some cool lamps that could be useful for, your lighting and stuff. If you don't want to get, those box lights, then I'd recommend one of those lamps that have the 5, bendable things coming off of them, so you can have 5 light bulbs at once. Those work really well for lighting. Made the embarrassing mistake of walking away with someone else's shopping cart before quickly realizing, wait, this isn't mine. Also, reviewing the footage, I do see in my shopping cart that I bought a crock pot. I totally forgot to mention it, but yeah, we did buy a crock pot for about $1. Not for cooking, but well, I'm just gonna say it, the devil's lettuce. And I am in Washington State, so, don't come at me. Those shake weights always intrigued me. I know that they might be good for working out. I don't know the stats on that, but I mean, for obvious reasons, I would never be caught dead in public fucking using one. I mean, come on now. You know why. Did decide to take one more passing glance at the section that was closed off to the public, but I just had to look one last time. I mean, it was where my department was, and I have a lot of memories working that section. Before heading out, I definitely decided to peruse the books a little bit more. I decided to grab this cool book on female gunslingers and outlaws from the old Wild West. I have a certain affinity for the Wild West. Pioneering your own destiny, dust on your brow, gunslinging, and all the free legal cocaine you can get. Funny enough, I did have to look at this VHS tape because it was called Kirby. It's about a baseball player, but you know the Kirby I was thinking of. I already own a bunch of these, but I did grab another one of these books that are like encyclopedias just listing a bunch of movies. I always thought it could come in handy one day for discovering obscure movies and stuff. As I was starting to round up my shopping for the day, I did find some computer speakers that I grabbed. Don't know if they work or not, but they were so cheap I figured I had to grab them. Backup pair, maybe they'll be better than ones I have now when I test them. I found a cool cube thing. It's like a book suspended in motion. I don't need it, and I'm sure it was just sitting on the desk of some stockbroker or something, but why not grab it? It's so cheap, and it looks cool. Maybe I could incorporate it into a YouTube video or something. We'll see. I found another piece to go in my bathroom. It's just like a sailor captain guy. My mom had a great idea later to put matches in the box next to him. I think it'll go pretty well in the bathroom. Grabbed this dinner bell. I thought it looked pretty cool as well. Kind of a nice piece overall. Grabbed this book that was like a comic collection. I've never heard of the comic. I don't know if it's good or not, but fuck it. I'll add it to the collection. Finally, and I do apologize, I do not have this on video as my camera glasses died, but I did go to Gamestop. There was 2 games I wanted to get. See, recently I played Until Dawn and loved it. So I wanted to get 2 other games by the same company, Supermassive Games. See, they're releasing this, I believe, annual series called the Dark Pictures Anthology. So I grabbed the first 2 games in that series, Man of Medan and Little Hope. I also found this cool Cowboy Bebop t-shirt. I'm a big fan of the show Cowboy Bebop, so I had to grab this t-shirt as well. I figured I'd use this part of the video just to share my general thoughts on Value Village closing, because it is sad, and I do have some thoughts about it. You know, obviously not all Value Village, just this one in this city near me. But it's the one I worked at. 11 months I worked there. So you gotta think, I spent so many hours, hundreds of hours there probably at least. I mean, when you work there 11 months, 5 days a week or whatever, I mean, I missed a lot of days, but still, that's hundreds of hours to show up at the same building, to see the same people, to use the same machines. Like, when you're in that space, like, so many hours a day, and now it's just gone forever. I can never see that space again. I can no longer show up there and have the experience of seeing some old co-workers and stuff. Just gone. It's over for good. It's an empty building now. And that is sad. Now, to be fair, after the COVID thing and the lockdown, it wasn't the same. They lost a lot of the people. So when I went back, it was a lot of different people. So it became more and more unrecognizable. So many of the people I knew were gone. It was just a small handful of old co-workers, and then everyone else was just new people who had no clue I even worked over. Most of the managers were gone too, including even the store manager. So it wasn't the same, but it's still sad. I still had co-workers there. And I mean, it's really sad too, because even before I worked there, I honestly believed that was the best thrift store in my area. Had better prices than the other thrift stores, including other value villages. Better prices, better selection, better variety. Like, at a different value village, you might find some Xbox games. At this one, you would find Nintendo 64. I mean, they had random gaming shit too, like an Intel voice. The voice thing for the Intellivision. Just random shit like that. And when I worked there, we used to sell consoles sometimes like 10, 15 bucks each. Because we would get so many in. We wouldn't price an Xbox Original Wii at a high price because we'd have like 6 or 7 of them sitting there. And we'd price them at 15 bucks or whatever, 10 bucks sometimes, just to get rid of them. We had so many cool electronics and shit, and it's just sad. Like, I would have loved to continue shopping now as a game collector and just as someone who enjoys good stuff. So I am sad. I've lost the best thrift store in my area for shopping, and I lost the place I worked at and had so many memories at. So that is sad, and also it's less reason to visit that city for me. I'm going to go to Half Price Books less now because I don't have this value village to jump off of either. So it sucks, but I suppose it is what it is. Life goes on, and things continue. There's other value villages in the area. Not as good, but I guess they'll have to do. Again, I'm not too sad about it. Although it is also sad because I foolishly, maybe, though I knew it would never be true, I think I've always slightly held on to a vision in my head of someday returning and looking at that value village again, but obviously that's down the road. But that dream's been dead for a while. It's not practical, and also, again, so many of the old people were gone that even if I did go back and look there, it wouldn't have been the same. Anyway, I guess that's my general thoughts on it.